Good morning. I don't know if this is part of your morning routine, but I check through all of the world beer news on the internet. And I thought I would just share with you some of the stories, because I haven't really looked into all of them, but the titles are interesting. And to reward myself for getting out of bed and doing a bunch of things later today, I deserve also Cease and Desist. This is from Brouwerji DeMolen in the Netherlands. They have called this beer Cease and Desist because they actually used to have this called Old Rasputin, which, if you may know, is also a beer in United States, brewed by, I think, Northern Brewer, North Shore Brewer, something. They have like fish and stuff like that on their branding. They're actually a really good company. They also do Thelonious Monk, which you also may have seen somewhere. But they do Old Rasputin. They do Rasputin, that one, this logo that everyone knows. So they had their own in Europe and got sued. So they got a cease and desist letter. And then I found it here for $7.50 in this little weird can. Looks like someone fucking bootlegged this shit. I respect that. Anyway, it's got from them to me, and when I tweeted with them about this thing, they responded very much in the positive. Like, yeah, totally, that's our beer. I'm gonna finish doing my makeup too, so welcome to my morning. Here we have Marcus Lemonis. That's a good name. Meets one of Lebanon's first craft beer makers.
What makes it Lebanese?
Passion.
That's a good answer.
He opened Colonel Brewery back in 2014 and now has 70 employees.
How many different varieties do you bottle?
Bottling 2. But I have on tap more than 7-8 types of beer.
Which he serves at his beer garden and beachfront bar, right next to his windsurfing school.
Not gonna lie, that guy's fucking hot.
After all, it was windsurfing that got him into this in the first place.
Yeah, that's me too.
16 years old. I wanted to buy new windsurf gear, but I couldn't afford to pay for $4,000. So I said I'm gonna work.
He tried being a bartender, but quickly realized he can make more money making alcohol than serving it.
I made liquor at home and I sold them in 3 days and I made my first $5,000.
How old were you, 18, 19?
16.
16.
Liquor
Where Fabio from? We started work with hands like man at 16. I gave up smoke in 17.
You teach your parents what to accept, not the opposite.
Not my parents.
My parents, it worked with me.
Yeah, well, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Today,
God.
Jamil has invested nearly $1.5 million in his business. He's also expanding his product line to include vodka and gin.
Smell this.
This is in Lebanon? Let's go to Lebanon. Who wants to go to Lebanon?
That was awesome.
What? I don't know what this has to do. So we just led right into another episode of some shit. That's the first craft brewer. That guy? That was it. That was the whole story. So there was that story. Moving on. I'm gonna be honest, I don't usually get to read topics from TMZ because I just read things that revolve around the beer industry. Granted, Madison beer pops up a fucking lot. That being said, TMZ is not normally something that I get to read off of, so I have no idea what this is about, but it does say, Patagonia to Anheuser-Busch, that's a bad brew, we're suing over our name. Patagonia versus Anheuser-Busch. That's a beautiful little visual, well done. Now, this is a buzzkill. Patagonia's pissed. Anheuser-Busch jacked its name and slapped it on a beer, according to new lawsuit. Whoa. They did. I also saw this ad, and I thought that it was... There's a giant billboard of this, and we were coming back from Buffalo. The taxi driver was like, oh, I didn't know Patagonia did beer. And I was like, well... And I got into a whole spiel about how they work with Hub, and they did that really beautiful release with the long grain barley and what an ethical company they are. And was like, so yeah, sure, maybe they're making a beer. I don't fucking know. Ew. The famous winter clothing company claims the king of beers somehow convinced the U.S. Trademark Office to give AB the rights to use Patagonia on beer. As you can imagine, Patagonia insists the beer misers should never have been granted that right because it's been using the name since the 60s. Translation, we're working this corner, bitch, beat it! That is their brand, though. Patagonia wants the court to cancel Anheuser-Busch Patagonia trademark, and it wants to tap into all the profits made by the allegedly jacked logo. Oh God. Fuck yes, I want it so fucking much. So I haven't researched that at all. I hope that story's real, but we're just gonna move on. Why a South Korean brewery moved to California to make Korean beer? This sounds super interesting as well. Booth Brewing, one of South Korea's most visible craft beer producers, doesn't make its beer where Korean beer giants Height and OB produce their ubiquitous watery lagers. Instead, both of Booth's beers are brewed in Eureka, the California city near the Oregon border, most known for redwood trees and marijuana cultivation. Booth launched in Seoul in 2013 after husband and wife team Sung-Hoo Yang, a former investment analyst, and Hee-Hoon Kim, a former doctor, wanted to help correct the dearth of craft beer in South Korea. So they teamed up with Daniel Tudor, the article's author, and opened a pub that served pizza and craft beer out of a Seoul alley. Their patriotic origin story and quirky branding, their bottles have colorful labels featuring the adventures of a blue creature called Boothman, quickly attracted a fan base. Anyway, yeah, it was a good year to join the craft beer industry. It always is when you're in these emerging markets. I mean, let's be honest, you're taking a tried and true thing and you are doing it again. Humans are humans. So they have this like transfer program. Cool. I'm gonna get out of here and put clothes on and finish my face. Na 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 na. You are my lip liner. And go do all my things in my day. But I hope those stories entertained you. We're gonna follow up on some of them, of course. If you have any opinions on the topics covered or any questions, of course, there are always comment sections available, but I'm old school and I have an email, nitch@tastingnitch.com. So you could also just email me. That's an option too. I hope you have a lovely day. Wish me luck. Bye. See you tomorrow.